Hey, history lovers! Welcome back to Historical Africa. Today, we're diving into a remarkable story that spans continents and centuries, introducing you to the incredible saga of Yasuke, the first black samurai. So, buckle up because this is a tale you won't want to miss. Our journey takes us back to 16th century Japan, a time of samurai, warlords, and a mysterious figure who defied all expectations. Yasuke, believed to be of African origin, steps onto the stage of history, rewriting the narrative of what it meant to be a samurai. Not much is known about Yasuke's early life. Some historians speculate he was born in Mozambique, Ethiopia, or Nigeria. Thomas Lockley, co-author of African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan, says it's possible Yasuke was enslaved and trafficked as a child, but believes he was a free man by the time he met Alessandro Valignano, an Italian Jesuit missionary. The duo traveled from India to Japan in 1579, with Yasuke essentially serving as Valignano's bodyguard. Yasuke was employed as muscle because missionaries aren't allowed to have weapons, Lockley says. Japan at the time was in the middle of a brutal century of civil war, and therefore Valignano needed somebody to look after him. The civil war in question began in 1467 with the collapse of the Ashikaga shogunate, which left rival feudal lords vying for control of Japan. These clashes continued through the mid-1500s, when Nobunaga consolidated power by unifying half of the island nation under his ruthless regime. Yasuke first crossed paths with Nobunaga in 1581 when Valignano requested permission from the warlord to leave the country, a customary practice in an era before passports, according to Lockley. Nobunaga was fascinated by the color of Yasuke's skin, which he initially believed to be covered in black paint. As Lockley explains, the daimyo ordered Yasuke to be washed, but his skin color remained unchanged. Nobunaga threw a welcome party for his visitor, who officially entered his service soon after. The Chronicle of Lord Nobunaga, a 17th century book written by one of Nobunaga's followers, described Yasuke as appearing to be 26 or 27 years old. This man looked robust and had a good demeanor. What is more, his formidable strength surpassed that of 10 men. Other chronicles characterized the samurai as an intelligent, imposing figure who stood more than 6 feet tall. Though Yasuke was already a skilled warrior, he likely underwent additional martial arts training upon joining Nobunaga's army. In 16th century Japan, the title of samurai spoke to rank and was loosely defined as a warrior in the service of a lord or another warrior. By 1581, Nobunaga employed thousands of samurai, yet Yasuke was the first foreign-born warrior to enter their ranks. Though Yasuke was the only black samurai in Nobunaga's army, he was by no means the only African present in Japan at the time. Several hundred African people lived in Japan during the 16th century, says Doan. They worked as interpreters, soldiers, entertainers, and more. She says that Kyoto's Japanese residents would have been surprised by Yasuke's foreignness, but likely wouldn't have exhibited prejudice based on his skin color. According to Lockley, Nobunaga was a powerful man whom few were willing to challenge, so his decision to employ Yasuke wasn't controversial. In fact, the samurai proved to be quite popular among locals, who flocked to catch a glimpse of him. Yasuke joined Nobunaga during the last months of the feudal lords' unification campaign. His strategy was to impose peace by force of arms, Lockley says. He would quite happily wipe out 10,000 people if he thought it would forward the aims of peace. Though Nobunaga was close to completing his goal of consolidating control of Japan, his efforts came to an abrupt close after one of his trusted generals, Akechi Mitsuhide, betrayed him. On June 21, 1582, Mitsuhide ambushed Nobunaga In Kyoto, while they were en route to a battle, Mitsuhide had thousands of troops under his command. Nobunaga was accompanied by just 30 or so men from his inner circle, including Yasuke. Mitsuhide brings 13,000 troops into Kyoto and surrounds the temple where Nobunaga is staying, says Lockley. It's a foregone conclusion. It's 13,000 against 30. Mitsuhide's men slaughtered many of the soldiers in Nobunaga's entourage during the initial ambush. Eventually, Nobunaga, Yasuke, and an attendant named Mori Ranmaru, the feudal lord's lover at the time, retreated to one of the temple's chambers. It was here that Nobunaga performed seppuku, using a sword to slice open his abdomen before Ranmaru beheaded him. Ranmaru then also performed seppuku, asking Yasuke in turn to decapitate him. If you're going to die anyway, you might as well die quicker by your own hand and retain some honor, says Lockley. Once both Nobunaga and Ranmaru were dead, Yasuke escaped from the temple with his lord's head in tow. By protecting Nobunaga's remains, Yasuke denied Mitsuhide the chance to seize his enemy's head and display it as a way of establishing legitimacy and power. The reason behind Mitsuhide's betrayal of Nobunaga is one of the great mysteries of Japanese history. Doan says, there are many stories, not all of them historically verifiable, of what could have led to the Honnoji incident. Not much is known about Yasuke's fate after the ambush. According to Lockley, he may have been badly wounded and captured as one of the last survivors of Nobunaga's inner circle. The last known record of Yasuke describes him being escorted to a Jesuit mission by Mitsuhide's warriors. What we do know, says Doan, is that Mitsuhide did not execute Yasuke. Lockley speculates that Mitsuhide spared Yasuke to gain the support of the Jesuit missionaries. The usurping general lacked allies and only survived Nobunaga by a few days. On July 2nd, one of Nobunaga's retainers, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, defeated Mitsuhide at the Battle of Yamazaki. Hideyoshi went on to become Japan's second great unifier, uniting the entire country by 1590. Although Yasuke's time in Japan was relatively brief, his legacy endures. Fast forward to today, and Yasuke's story is experiencing a resurgence in popular culture. We're seeing his tale adapted in books, comics, and even an animated series. Discover how Yasuke's legacy is not just a historical footnote, but a living narrative influencing our understanding of diversity and inclusion. And there you have it, the incredible journey of Yasuke, the first black samurai. A tale that challenges stereotypes, transcends borders, and reminds us that history is full of untold stories waiting to be rediscovered. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating histories, and share your thoughts in the comments below.